Hi, gals and pals. Today I'm going to talk to you about the college admissions process. I know that it's very difficult for the class of 2021, and I know that it's a bit confusing as far as the whole college process, but I'm going to start simple. Early action, early enrollment, regular traditional enrollment. Early action is a non-binding, as in no type of contract at all, to a school. When you apply early action, you're applying at the top of the pool of applicants because you are applying early. It's showing that you have an initiative to want to go to that school, and it makes them look at your application a little bit more like you're applying early. What opportunities do you have? Or like, what do you have on your rap sheet that looks good? Early action is, early enrollment is a binding legal contract, and essentially once you do early enrollment, you cannot get out of that contract. So if you are accepted into that school, you will have to go there that semester. You cannot break that contract. If you do decide that you don't want to go to that school at all, you will still have to pay them. Just keep that in mind. Even if you don't go but you are accepted, you will have to pay the school because you enrolled to the school early. Think of it like you're getting a phone plan and you buy the phone. So early action is like you buying the phone, or you pre-ordering the phone and having the money for it. Or you pre-ordered the phone but they ran out of phones, so it doesn't really matter. But early enrollment is more so you put down a deposit when you pre-ordered the phone, and that deposit is non-refundable. So even if you don't get that phone, they're still going to keep your money. They will look at your senior schedule. Your senior grades are essentially boosters to your GPA. That is not the GPA that they're looking at when you apply to college. When you apply to college, you are using your GPA from your 9th through 11th grade year. It really just depends on whether or not you've taken some college or AP classes prior to your freshman year of high school, because once those credits do roll over, if you did take something like that in middle school, they will include that onto your full I can't remember the name of it, but your full sheet of your grades. Yes, so once you do, let's see, early enrollment, early action. Oh, early enrollment is also called early decision as well. So those two are interchangeable, but they are the same thing. You want to pick your schools based on your major, not proximity to you. So do look for schools that are near you, but also look for schools that are within your area if you want to stay close to home, or get in-state tuition rates, because out-of-state tuition rates are almost twice, if not triple, the rate that someone in that state will pay. So, for example, I got accepted into Mississippi State University. It would have been about 30 grand for me for the semester for staying on campus because I'm from out of state. But if I were in state, it would have been like 20 something. So be on the lookout for that. Which is why it's more ideal to go in-state as well. You want to look for how good that school is based on your major. Your major, you don't have to declare a major initially, but look for something that you find interest in. Look for a field. Like, I've always wanted to be a pediatrician, so I kind of just gravitated to schools with really good health science programs and programs that will allow me extra benefits. So my school has programs that team up with medical schools as well as nursing schools. And basically you go to our school for 3 years, and then you'll go to that school for a number of years, but you're already early initiated into that school because you have pre-applied essentially. You want to not only just look at your major, but you also want to look at whether or not you'll genuinely like the school. Like, look at, you know, videos, or ask somebody that's went there that you may know, like, hey, do you like this school? What do you think about it? You know, what's good about it? And if they just talk about parties, that's not a bad thing, but also ask them about classes as well. So like, hey, are your classes difficult? Are they really overwhelming? My classes, for example, aren't extremely difficult, but they are overwhelming because we are currently online for the semester, and they have also fast tracked our actual term this semester. So basically, our term is supposed to end in December normally, but we will be ending around Thanksgiving at the end of not December, November. Like, all of our final grades and stuff need to be in by the end of November. So we're really just here. Let's see. I've talked about major. Okay. So when you pick a major, think of it as not just what do you want to do in that field. Think of it as, does this broad spectrum cover something that I may want to do? So with a health science degree, I can decide whether I want to go to medical school, or I can decide whether I want to change and go to nursing, or I can decide just to be, you know, someone in the medical field in general, just like a health related person. So think of like a medical secretary or something of that nature. Okay, the actual application. So on the application, make sure you have money, because most application fees are gonna run you at least $40 or more. Sometimes they do waive application fees, but they do that at certain times. So be on the lookout for emails from the colleges, or if you know that that college waives application fees at certain points. Like, I know there were a couple colleges that waived their application fees in October last year, so be on the lookout for that as well. And don't be discouraged by regular decision. Regular decision just means that you don't want your application looked at now, but you want it to make sure you are on the right track before you actually apply. And early action and regular decision have two separate dates for like, you know, actual decisions. So I got my update for early action in December, and I applied in, I want to say, September. But regular decision, they applied in, I want to say they applied up till like March, and they didn't get their decisions back until like July, I think. Well, not even July. It might have been like June, but something of that nature. Just know that early decision and honor students will get their results back a bit earlier as well too, just because they're at the very forefront. It's early decision, honors, early action, regular decision. I don't want to say I'm missing out on stuff. I just want to make sure I'm including everything for you guys. So with the application process, once you've, you know, put in your application, you don't have to put in test scores this year. A lot of colleges are actually waiving test scores due to COVID, because there are a lot of testing sites that are not open at the moment. Because your school may not be accepting test scores, or they may just be waiving them for the benefit of the students, your essay needs to be stronger. The things that colleges look at when they look at your application, they look at your essay, they look at your GPA, your test scores, and your extracurriculars. But since test scores, which is one of the top things, is knocked out, they're going to look heavily on your essay and your GPA. Your extracurriculars will come into factor, but they will be a smaller number, because it's like, okay, this person has a strong essay, but I want to know how well they associate with others. Do they have teamwork experience, leadership experience, things of that nature, because that will be beneficial, especially for whatever field they decide to go into. So pretty much you really want to work on your essay writing abilities. Also, a lot of like literature teachers, get cool with them when you're in your senior year, because they can look over your essay for you and help you with them, or even just ask other college students that you know, like, hey, how do you feel about this? Do you think this is good? You know, what do you think about this? And they will help you write it. Not write it per se, but they will help you, like, hey, maybe you should change the wording here, something like that. So yeah, we talked about the application. We've talked about the enrollment process itself. You're also gonna need more money, so just save up a great deal when you're looking at your school, because once you get accepted into that school, they may have an enrollment deposit, which is what my school had. They may have an orientation fee, which thankfully I didn't have to pay, but a lot of people had to pay because they didn't have an enrollment deposit. And you will also have to look at the housing fee. Sometimes it may charge you something for putting in the application, sometimes it may not. So I want to say it was like $50 possibly. No, I actually didn't pay any money for my housing application fee. The only thing that I paid for was the, like, out of pocket, was my enrollment deposit, which was $500. And my housing fee was included into my tuition as well as my orientation fee. All of that was included into my tuition, so I didn't have to pay for that out of pocket. But I know that a lot of people who paid housing deposits were like around the $250 range. Some of them were more, some of them were less. I think one of my friends at NYU, she paid like $1,000 for her housing deposit. So you want to look at factors like that, because you want to know, will I have the money by then to pay for it? Because there are certain deadlines for payment, and there are certain documents that you need to put in. So for example, the day that my enrollment deposit needed to be finalized, or the day that I could pay it, was also the day that I was able to access my housing application. I could not put in my housing application until I was enrolled and deposited. So you want to look at factors like that as well. So let's see, we've talked about the process of choosing a class. We've talked about GPA. Class of 2022. If you're watching this video, just know that your grades this year will matter the most. They will matter the most, because I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but the college is looking at your 9th through 11th grade year GPA when you are putting in your application. Because you're putting it in so early, you won't have time to create a senior year GPA because you haven't got there yet. So please make sure you keep up with your grades. My GPA was not the best when I finished my junior year, I'll be honest. I was really struggling because I was forced to take a AP literature class, and I'm not a very strong writer, which was really detrimental to me. But thankfully, I ended with a 2.8, but I was able to graduate my senior year with a 3.0. I took some AP classes my senior year, but I didn't take the AP exam. I just took exams that my teachers made, simply because, actually, yeah, so you choose the option of whether or not you want to take the AP exam, if you didn't know that or not. Whether you think that you'll do good, because your teacher will talk to you about that, like, hey, do you think this was good? You know, do you think you need to work a little bit more? And you'll be able to take the exam or be prepared for the exam, or do you think you need to wait a little bit longer and just not take it altogether because you don't really think you'll be prepared? And plus, they'll also factor in your grade. Like, your teacher will sit down and talk with you about whether or not you want to take the AP exam or their personal exam. It really just depends. College credit. When you are applying for your college, if you've taken joint classes at a university of some nature, not all colleges take those credits. So even if you took pre-calculus or a literature class or yada yada yada, they might not take your credit. They might say, oh, your credit can't be converted, therefore you're gonna have to take this class because it's in your requirements for your major. So, I mean, that's all I can say about that. If it doesn't work, then you have to do it. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And let's see, I think I've covered every basis. But if anyone has any more questions or needs any more details about anything, I can make separate videos about it. But I really wanted to go ahead and talk about the college admissions process because I know that all of the class of 2021 are starting to look at colleges, and I just hope that you guys make colleges based on whether or not they will be beneficial for your future career choice instead of whether or not you'll have fun there. Yes, you want to have fun in college, but you also want to learn in college. You're paying for it. If you're paying for it, you want to get your money's worth, which is why you want to learn in college instead of party all the time. Don't get me wrong, you can party, just not that much, because those grades and those due dates come up way faster than you think. And since we're online, I'm constantly looking at a computer every day, so the due dates kind of just roll over into each other and you don't even notice it. You want to make sure you have a planner at all times when you're in college, especially. I have a actual planner, like a, one that you write on, but I also have one of the whiteboard calendars on my wall, and I take index cards. I have these really cute little marble ones. I have a cork board on the side of my whiteboard, and I thumbtack the index cards onto my little cork board, and I write down what I need to do that day. So I might put work on math homework, finish notes for this class, finish this homework, study for this test, things like that. Yes, so I'm gonna make a separate video about crucial topics for the actual college experience versus the college admissions process, because there are a couple of more things that I want to mention about the actual college experience that may be more beneficial than this video, but I know that this video is very beneficial considering you are applying to college right now. Like, this is it. I hope that everyone gets accepted into whatever school they apply for, and I hope that you have a wonderful and prosperous day. Bye.